What do you want?
Mom. Cookie?
Cookie! Good saying, want cookie. Good. Oh, you want to pick? Okay. That's exactly what I like to see. Exactly what I like to see. Exactly what I like to see.
By the end of the summer, he was able to say, I want. And this was just a couple of months after getting the diagnosis. It was a miracle.
What do you want?
Mom. Good thing. Cookie.
Cookie! Good, tell me cookie. All right.
Everything that he learned over the past couple of years, we have had to teach him. Nothing has come, There reached a point where he started learning incidentally, but we had to teach him to point. We had to teach him to say, I don't know. Everything had to be taught.
Put the fish in the train.
Fish in the train.
Yay! You did it! Bring it back. Yay!
I did it.
How does that belong in?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Boo.
Boo, who?
You don't want to cry, Ron.
Now 5, Tori attends regular nursery school where he seems just like any other normal child.
Okay, let me see. Show Mrs. Barnes what you were doing.
The term recovery is so new in the field of autism, and professionals are still very reluctant to use that term because it's very subjective. So what do we call these kids? I think that they can be considered recovered from the disability. Do we know what they're going to be like at the age of 20? We don't know. We can speculate based on their development to date what they're going to be like. I'm very optimistic that they will continue to be indistinguishable from their peers.
Some scientists suggest that the brain of a very young child is still plastic, still malleable enough that rigorous therapy could modify abnormal wiring. At the Autism and Brain Development Lab in La Jolla, California, neuroscientist Eric Korshen believes an undersized cerebellum could be setting off a whole cascade of abnormal development.
There may be critical periods during which the effects of the cerebellum are maximal. And of course, that means that it's during that early critical period that treatment is most needed. It's during that point when you must intervene in order to stop what's happening before it becomes cemented.
I think what we're doing is probably more preventative than people would think. So for example, if we come in and we start with a child who's 15 months, usually at 15 months you don't see a lot of stereotypic behavior being demonstrated by the child. It's primarily a language problem at that point and a social problem at that point. And so hopefully through aggressive early intervention, you are teaching many more adaptive responses and skills, and so the individual doesn't have an opportunity to learn how to engage in other responses that are less adaptive.
Could you think that you could get it done?
Bridget Taylor now helps run the Alpine Learning Group, a small school in New Jersey founded by parents desperate to help their children.
Grass skirts, yeah. What did they charge, $15?
They've all committed themselves to fundraising, helping out at the school, implementing home programs, and supporting other parents of children with autism.
Parents, they need to weed through a lot, but they need to ultimately arrive at a treatment option that's based on science. And that's what applied behavior analysis is all about. It's not swimming with the dolphins. It's not something where people think that it's going to work. We implement treatment interventions here, and we document the effectiveness of our intervention.
Once it seemed like a life sentence. Now we know that sentence can sometimes be commuted, perhaps even lifted. Now we know there's hope. As long as we intervene early enough, intensively enough, we can rescue many children from the solitary confinement of autism. But the schools we've just seen are the exception, not the rule. Where are other parents to turn? Parents without the resources to hire trained therapists. Somehow we have to find the money to help children with autism in those crucial preschool years. If we don't, the cost to all of us of caring for an untreated adult will be far greater, reaching into the millions. The cost, in terms of human suffering, is not to be measured.
Currently in Canada, we really in no way have adequate assessment or treatment programs for children with autism. I think mainly the assessment centres are within health facilities. And when we're in a very difficult position in terms of prioritizing where dollars are spent, usually dollars will be much more likely to go to a transplant program because that's seen as a life and death situation. If the money is to go to a program for children with autism, many of the people who are making those decisions have no concept of the trauma that the families of children with autism are experiencing. It's absolutely soul-destroying to not feel that you can have any connection with your child, to then learn that there maybe are some treatment possibilities that could help with that process, and yet you can't access them because of the lack of dollars, is even more upsetting for many of our parents.
The important thing is not to mourn over a diagnosis like this, but to get moving and try to do something, try to help your children.
Autism is such a devastating disorder, not only to the child, but to the family, because no matter how hard you try and how hard you work with them, you don't always get a response back. You don't get a hug, you don't get a kiss, you don't get a love you, and you work and you work and you work, and the feedback just isn't there for you, but you have to keep working, because eventually it will be there. And Karen will now run up and give you a hug and say, I love you.
People ask me, what did you do? Obviously you did something right, but throughout, we didn't know. 2 years ago, if you had said to me, that he was going to be starting kindergarten on time, I don't know that I would have believed it. In that respect, I feel very lucky and very blessed that it happened. Because there are a lot of parents who do the same kind of program, but the thing that you will find, I think, with this type of program is that all the children make progress. You just don't know how much progress it's going to be.
Old MacDonald had a farm. Very good. And on that farm he had a cow. With the there and a here, there a here a everywhere a. Old MacDonald had a farm. Yay! Good boy, good singing. That was great.